Well, last night we had another frost advisory. So coming out here just to check on things. I kept waking up every half hour, every hour from like 4 on just to keep checking the temperature to make sure it didn't hit freezing. So thankfully we did not last night or this morning. So I'm just going through and do a walkthrough right now just to make sure everything is okay. Everything looks fine. So totally happy to see that. The goal here on the homestead this year has been to really kick it up a notch, a couple of notches, with growing more food, especially with everything that's going on now. It's just really encouraged and motivated us just to grow as much as we can and continue to expand and grow with that. And one of the challenges that we're starting to face, and I'm sure some of you are as well, is with ordering things. I've noticed some of the things that we've been ordering, it's taking them longer to get here. Actually ordered a homeopathy remedy and it shipped the beginning of this month, but it won't be until the end of this month that I'm gonna get it. So we're starting to see things slow down, and a part that I needed for my rototiller, who knows if I'm gonna be able to get that in. So we'll just see how things go. And right now, as we're continuing to grow more here in our greenhouse, we are in need of some more trays. So thankfully, Bootstrap farmer Brandon lives about 4 hours from here, and he told me that he's actually going to be moving to Florida, and he's been operating a portion of the business from his home. So we're going to go pick up some items from him, so we don't have to worry about items being shipped. We can just go get the things that we need. What are some of the challenges that you've had to deal with whether it be ordering things, just inconveniences that you've had to deal with during this time? Let me know in the comment section below. And I will say, and I say this not to be negative nor to scare anybody, but with a lot of the challenges that we have, it is going to affect our food system and food production in a number of ways. Some farms rely on workers from Mexico to come work, and those workers won't be able to come. So some of the industries like the meat industry, the dairy, and other produce as well, it's going to be a lot more challenging to get. So there's just things to keep in mind and to pray for. But moving on from that, before we leave to head out to see Brandon, I have this nesting box here. I have a set of these, but this one right here, I'm going to be bartering with some friends of ours, the Barriers. They're expanding their operation and what they're doing, and they have expanding with layer chickens, and they said they could use a nesting box, and I said, hey, I have one. We can barter it with you, and I'm always up for bartering and trading. So we're going to go ahead and move this chicken nesting box out of here so they can come and pick it up. They should be here any minute now. This is getting ready to set you. Good morning. It's right over here.
Okay.
Yeah. Like a layer?
Yeah, we have like 40, yeah.
There we go.
42.
The best way to do it is kind of from the bottom. The gear will start bending on you. It hurts a little bit though. What kind of layers do you have?
We have buck and Rhode Island duck. We got in one of the days where they had like 50-cent chips.
He's got a tailgate like us.
Exactly about that. Mine broke on the actual handle part, so I got to do the screwdriver in here. Alright. You two about ready to head out?
Yes, almost ready.
You ready, Josiah?
Yeah.
It's just gonna be the three of us. Micah and Selah are not coming along on this little trip here we're going on.
But they are staying with a responsible adult.
Yeah, we didn't just leave them by themselves. I was gonna say, Selah, you got it. Just kidding. Alright, so on our trip, we're gonna take this. And what's this again?
It's a Blue Eddy power station. We got it all charged up. We're gonna take it so I can edit video while we're driving down the road.
That way we can keep videos coming to you guys while we're still moving. On the move. This helps get some muscles warmed up for this morning. Man, it's tough. I can barely curl it. More like an upright road. Well, we made it. We are here about four hours away from where we live, and we are here. So Brandon, is this where you started everything?
This is the Bootstrap Farmer headquarters.
There we go.
This is where it all began, and I have the food truck over there. So I'm moving out of this place in a week. So as you see everything, it's just that's what it reflects. I'm someone who's about to move out. But I got the old food truck here. That's what it all started with. Concept was to grow everything in the greenhouses, take it right on the food truck where I could turn it into meals, throw it into the car and deliver it. You know, we've been doing that since I moved down here, and that was the business model that even got me interested in farming and building the greenhouses, which is what started Bootstrap Farmer. So I took the fridges out there at the shop.
Okay.
You can jump up in there.
Sweet. All right. Wow.
So I kept as much original as I possibly could, like as much as the health department would let me.
Yep.
So like any surface that was porous or anything I had to get rid of, but thankfully a lot of this was made of Formica or the aluminum that you see on the walls. So this is about 60% original and then 40% stainless steel for the health department. But this was my original commercial kitchen. You know, it was on my property. It was a food truck. It was North Carolina's first self-contained food unit. So now it's going on to Illinois.
Wow.
Part of a food truck court.
That's pretty sweet. So where was your window at that you served people from?
Yep, so the serving window was here. I got a table back here. And I did a lot of casseroles because I was either working by myself or when we weren't, we did a lot more. But when it was just me, I just wanted to be able to like put something on something and not have to like cook things to order so I could move a lot more volume. So that was just my approach.
Wow, this is neat. This is so cool. So what all did you serve in here?
Well, most recently we did tacos, burritos, pizza, and so we had tacos being made on this oven here, and then outside we had a uni, U-N-I. It's like a little wood-fired pellet pizza oven.
Okay.
And people just went crazy for that because you smell it. If you like, we liked going to the bar, but vegetable Craven local food market's kind of like not always perfect for the bar, but if we were making pizza, then they're good. I don't care about all the vegetables on top. So that's what we started doing, and that was pretty popular. That and I would say butternut squash curry was the favorite.
That sounds
those three really, yeah.
That sounds great. So what type of areas did you set up in, or park at, or whatever you call it?
Well, we learned lots of lessons. We learned what to do and what not to do. I paid a lot of money up front to go to a bacon and barbecue event, or as a bacon and brew event, which was not a good idea because it was vegetable. It was like a vegan truck, and even though I still put bacon in things, like I was perceived as vegan, and so no one came, and I lost a lot of money in the fees up front, and then lost a lot of money on the food I made. So that was my worst event ever. But the better ones were the farmers market, because that's where our audience is coming.
Yeah.
And then the brewery, just because we had the relationships there, and people like, if they're at the bar, there's only one food truck there, they're gonna come try you.
Yeah.
And then if they get you once, or one person buys something and they're walking around with these tacos, they're walking around with this butternut squash curry that's steamy and smells
Yeah.
awesome, like they're in. So
Yeah.
that actually worked out really well. It's an easy one.
Sweet, sweet. There were a couple of those at the National Heirloom Expo, something similar to what you have, and that got our attention every day. Every day.
Yeah. I mean, around here, there's not too much competition at food trucks, so you just gotta be smart with your time. Like when we take this out, you know, we still had the subscription service going on. We still had the farmers market going on. So if we did it, we know that like we're losing basically 2 days of other stuff because you have to prep and then you gotta clean.
Yeah.
And then, you know, this is a trailer, so we're dragging it. It's not like just turn it on and go.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more to it than that. So to get my business model off the ground, to get my business ventures going, like this was perfect for me. It was the bootstrap option. I built this myself, like in my spare time while I was still working. So I had this ready to go when I moved down here. But it's a pain. It sucked. It's hard work. It took a lot out of me, and I grew out of it. You know that, but that's part of bootstrapping. Like you don't want to be in the food truck business forever. Like your knees are gonna hurt.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, it was perfect at the time, and now we have a real commercial kitchen down the street, and that's worked out great.
Sweet. So you had your greenhouses over here, and
Yep. I started out doing cracky hydroponics because it just seemed like the easiest way to do things, and I didn't need any electricity. And I can build an 8-foot square box like one at a time. So like that was like literally bootstrapping. I could build one raft at a time as I grew because I didn't really have a whole lot of money to start. So that's how I grew the business. I was growing. I started with lettuce and salads that I would put on the food truck, and then did soups and stews from there, and it just kept expanding. But then obviously Bootstrap Farmer was growing out of control about maybe a year and a half into it, so I had to put things on pause. And at that point, Little by Little Farm, who live a couple miles away from me, they took over the business basically, and their farm is like what my farm was supposed to be, you know, at this point. And it's beautiful, and maybe we'll take a trip over there because my kind of goal was to make permaculture growing profitable in like a realistic way. And how do you do that when those like systems take forever? So finding that blend, like using some hydroponics, but then like as we walk around this property, you'll see there's like a lot of long-term things that I've been developing because the original plan was for me to like do all this stuff that never actually happened, which is how business goes. But yeah, that was the original design. Super simple hoop house with cracky hydroponics and a lot of in the dirt growing, which we see all these raised beds over here. So these are, you know, the Bootstrap 100-gallon bags, and I was just doing mostly mints and herbs and all that. Now we see a bunch of garlic, and I think that's peppermint in that first bag. So I still use it just for me at this point. Everything you see here.
I'm growing lemon balm in one of those bags, and it is doing fantastic.
Yeah. I got lemon balm growing over there in a grow bag. That stuff grows like crazy.
It does.
Yeah.
It's good for you too.
Yeah.
So, what type of feelings are you going through right now with thinking back to some of those goals and aspirations that you had for here, and now leaving that?
It's a mixed bag. Like this is like my homestead. You know, you have yours. This is mine. But you know, I moved to North Carolina with the goal of creating a business model that would allow the farmer to basically own the supply chain, like grow it, cook it, deliver it. Like I own it, you know. And we're doing that. We've been doing that for multiple years now with the Craven Local Food Market. So in a way, I accomplished my goal that I came to North Carolina to do. So it actually feels right to move on. And like the things that we got ahead, I can't wait to talk to you about later, because there's a lot of good things on the horizon, and we just keep growing and growing. And I realized like I'm not going to grow old here. You know, I'm going to keep doing different things all the time. So I just came to terms with that pretty quick.
Oh, that's good. That's good. That's so neat that you guys are growing too. And you guys saw on Instagram you had like a caravan of UPS vans.
So you know the thing, you know, all the businesses are doing pretty well. I mean, like, you know, like everyone's freaking out about, you know, food security right now. All the seed companies are crazy. We're quite behind, but you know, I'm actually most proud of the subscription service at all-time highs right now, because that type of business model was built for times like these. You know, it's when I left my job to move to North Carolina, like I did the farm to food truck thing also because like I couldn't fail. I couldn't afford to fail. So if I didn't like growing, okay, cool, I didn't spend too much money on that. I could do the food truck thing. If I didn't like the food truck thing, I could sell it for a profit because I put a lot of work into it. So it gave me options and flexibility. This is like a business that you couldn't destroy in a way. And I think that we're seeing that now, and that makes me really proud. So even though I'm sort of leaving that business behind when it's at an all-time high, like we accomplished our goal, and the people that are going to take it over, I mean, I couldn't be more proud of what they've done. So I feel good about everything where we're at.
That's fantastic. And why is it again? I think you told me you had a pretty good reason why you're moving, and what would that reason be?
I'm moving down to Tallahassee, Florida to be with Michelle Madison.
Hello, I'm Mike. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Whole fence, like different fruits. So this is all blackberries, this is blueberries. That was
This is cool. It's very similar to it. So.
So did you grow up growing food, or how did you get involved in farming? And
So I grew up very city minded, and was not into farm life, and didn't like. I wore high heels and like to high school. Like I wore high heels in high school. Yeah, and what ended up happening was like I couldn't keep Basil alive even. And my first exposure to agriculture was an aquaponics system, and so it was so cool to me that I was really interested in the science behind it and like how did that work. So through learning the science behind how aquaponics works, all of a sudden I figured out, oh, that's how you grow plants, and there's all of these different things that get into it. And so through learning the science behind aquaponics and what makes it work, all of a sudden I started farming, and so it was kind of this byproduct of my interest in the science behind it.
wow, that's pretty neat.
So yeah, I mean it's definitely been an interesting journey. Like originally I started farming in heels. It was really ridiculous.
I'd love to see a picture of that.
It was it was absurd. Well, I was into business and you know, and then I discovered aquaponics. I was like, this is the coolest thing.
Wow.
And then eventually the heels started to break down, and I, you know, looking back at it, looked pretty ridiculous in the greenhouse in heels. And then I remember I found a pair of overalls one day, or it was like a pair of hand-me-downs from my sister, and she was like, I don't look good in this. Here, you take them. And one day I put them on and went out to work, and I was like, man, this is like so much easier. And it hasn't changed since. I've been wearing overalls every day for like 5 years now.
That's funny.
Yeah.
So see, there you go. You can start growing anything from whatever background you have.
Yeah.
That is so cool.
this property is that I've got like 40 projects that you could probably dig out of the ground. Like, what were you doing there?
I know
oh
how
man,
that
I had
goes.
this whole thing worked out. And then, you know,
it goes.
you come back from a trip and your whole life is, I'm gonna do this now.
John Jevons double dig.
Yep.
Lovely.
Yep. Yeah, when I first moved to this property, the first thing I did is put a gym in and a fire pit and built a shed.
There you go.
Priorities. Yeah, they left a swing set here. You know, like those kids swing sets.
Yeah.
And so I just drug it from the middle of the yard over here.
Oh, by yourself?
Yeah, and then turned it
Oh,
into
man.
like a truck.
Oh,
you know? And then yeah, turned it into the chicken coop.
That's pretty
It was
neat.
also the first blog post I ever wrote.
Really?
How to turn like a swing set into a chicken coop.
That's actually a good idea. That was such a neat idea.
Yeah. There's a little thing there. I put these like poop hammocks. So they're up there and they just poop in these things, and you know, I could just take those, put them in the compost pile under the fruit trees or whatever.
So, what prompted that thought for you to convert this playset into a chicken coop?
I didn't want to have to burn it down, you know, and I'm not having kids anytime soon, so I didn't know what else to do with it. And I knew I wanted chicken, so it was just the perfect little opportunity. And it was like early on, gave me like a low risk way of being creative with something that I wasn't used to doing. So I guess it gave, like, once I actually did it and put it together and it worked, I had like more confidence to do other things. So I guess it was part of that process too.
Well, what lives in a pond?
Frogs.
And? Well, okay, yeah, and?
Yes, you do. What else is in the pond? There you go. Ding, ding, ding.
So we got a bunch of fish, and there's even a Mr. Turtle that lives in there. You want to feed the fish? They're really pretty fish too.
Does that sound like fun?
Yeah.
All right, so we are heading back home now. I'm driving this time, and Lacey's over here starting to edit using Blue Eddy power station. Yes, I got it right that time.
Yeah.
But we are jam-packed. The truck is jam-packed to capacity with stuff in the back of the truck, as well as right back here in the cab where you can just barely see Josiah, and all these trays that are a mountain beside of him. So it was really nice to be able to go directly to where Brandon started Bootstrap Farmer from the beginning, the original Bootstrap Farmer headquarters, to be able to go and not too far from where we live and pick it up and not having to worry about shipping, because if we had it shipped, who knows when we would get it right now, nor how much it would be to get all the stuff that we just got. And on top of that, with us picking it up ourselves, it reduced the number of hands having to touch all these different items. So super excited about that, and super excited that all this is going to help us grow more, and we're looking forward to extending some of these things as blessings to other farmers and people who are looking to grow more too. So it's pretty exciting.
Is it a good thing we're almost home?
Yeah.
Well, we are back home and have everything unloaded finally, and ready to call it a day. But super excited about our Bootstrap Farmer gear that we are adding to already the supply that I have, but super excited to be growing even more with it. And if you haven't heard of Bootstrap Farmer, I've personally been using them for a couple of years now. Their products, they have excellent high quality products that are much better than what you're going to find at your local box store, and they're going to last because they're really heavy duty, and they will last you. They have great seed starting kits, plugs, trays, humidity domes, and even greenhouse accessories and things for starting microgreens. So if you're looking to purchase from them, make sure you check out the show notes below. And also make sure, if you haven't seen it already, I did a video comparing the strength of their products compared to what you're going to find on other places online, as well as the cheapos that you can find at your local box store. Well, that's it for today. So make sure you stay tuned to see us putting all these things to use. See you next time.